Hey peeps, we are back. We're talking the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 16, episode 14. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. This episode is brought to you by Let's Hold On to Our Oranges by Any Means Necessary, the Gina and Emily story. So the show picks up right where it left off.
Constantly you're bringing up to different people that you got me in touch with Mike Val.
I did.
And in the car you bring it up. That's not cool. You're not doing it to be kind. You're doing it to self-promote.
You do need to put a pin in it. Your arrogance in questioning my friendships with people.
At the end of the day, Shannon, I feel bad for you.
You know what, Gina?
I feel bad for you. You're the best.
I hope for you that you can get to my level.
Let's hope we can jump up to the bar. I really hope that. I was a little disappointed.
I disagree. Do I have to walk away because I can't finish a sentence? Okay. I'm gonna get my drink. Too much?
He said, I have nothing but pity for your life.
Gina, that is the most ridiculous comment. Her, she's not your friend. Who the does she think she
Okay,
is?
sweetie, okay, come on.
All right, so I'm Team Shannon. I think I've made it very clear that season 16 is the season of Shannon Bedore. But I'm going to say this. I do appreciate that Shannon helped Gina with finding the attorney when she received her DUI. I think that Shannon absolutely saved Gina from being arrested in front of her children, and she helped her get through this case. I do appreciate that very much. However, once you have done something nice for somebody, you're not really supposed to bring it up over and over and over again. Also, if the person has thanked you, let's move on from there. I do understand Gina being a little upset about Shannon sharing that information with Heather the moment Heather met her. You know, they gave a little flashback of that. And so that was, in my opinion, not the nicest thing to do. However, I do think it was very sweet of Shannon to help Gina out during her time of need. I don't know why I'm so upset with Gina this season. Usually I am Team Gina. I'm always rooting for Gina. But this season I have to agree with Shannon that Gina has become quite arrogant. And I also agree with Shannon that confidence is one thing, arrogance is another. And there's so many things going on in Shannon's life and in Gina's life. I just don't see a reason for Shannon to be jealous of Gina. At this point, it just seems that Gina and Emily are trying so hard to make Shannon out to be this jealous, vindictive person. And it's coming off as pathetic. And I'm really starting to think that it's Emily that is jealous of Shannon, Heather, and Gina. That Gina should deflate her ego the way she needs to get rid of the shoulder pads in that blazer. It's not doing her any favors. And everybody knows I have zero fashion sense. But I know that blazer is not the thing. It's not it. The only thing that Emily has been doing this season is trying to separate Shannon from Heather and Gina. And unfortunately, it's working. And it's crazy to me that none of the ladies are seeing this. Nobody notices that Emily is the person in the middle. Emily is the jealous one. I am so happy that John was there for Shannon. You know, the whole F Gina, I am here for John. Because let me tell you, David Bedore would not have stood for Shannon at all. I also appreciate the editors for being there for Shannon this episode. They went all the way back and showed highlights from Shannon and Heather's first season together. And they showed how Heather went way out of her way to be condescending and gaslight the hell out of Shannon in her first few seasons.
You've done that to me too in the past. You called me pretentious, you called me all that stuff.
You've said a lot about me too. I was scary angry walking out of a restaurant, yelling at you in my living room when I wasn't. To say how I was an asshole to you in the past.
Heather really was putting on a masterclass her first couple of seasons. She was doing the best to make Shannon look as if she was unhinged. And she tried to bring it back up and Shannon shut her down, and I appreciate it. At one point, Gina made some comment about Shannon being around the bar or something like that. When she made that comment, the only thing that came to my mind was Shannon might drink too much and make a fool out of herself. But one thing is for sure, Shannon always has a driver. She hasn't received a DUI. I'm just saying. Guess there was some sort of situation. So it all started with Gina being on Watch What Happens Live, and a viewer had a question that said, what is your feelings about Tamra declaring that you and Emily aren't housewife material? And Gina said, well, I mean, I'm here, I'm on the show. After she shrugs it off, Andy reads a question about Kelly calling Gina a charity case who doesn't host events on the show. Gina then comes back and says, I don't even care. I mean, she hasn't hosted anything either. She says, my argument would be, okay, I didn't host anything, so I guess you're saying I'm just enough. Without hosting anything or the money or the over-the-top stuff, sorry, I'm enough. Kelly and Tamra take it to Twitter, because you know that's what the housewives do. They take it to Twitter. So Tamra says, you're right. You're on the show and I'm not, and the ratings show. I said, oh God. Oh my God, you're going to bring up these awful ratings. So then Kelly goes back to Twitter as well, and she says, just because you're still on the show doesn't mean you're good TV. Sorry, but this season sucks. The numbers don't lie. This is ridiculous. I mean, I hate to say it, but the ratings do suck. And yes, maybe there is a need for a reboot of the reboot. I'm just saying. So then Gina must have said that she felt sorry for Kelly or something like that. So Kelly retweets, don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for your 6 kids being packed in a 2-bedroom. My daughter has traveled the world, lived in the best places and the best homes, and had the best education. Go on with your fake skincare line that you can buy at Rite Aid. As far as I'm concerned, this just keeps getting worse and worse. I think that, you know, Gina has become extremely arrogant, but I don't think that Gina is ready to rumble with Tamra or Kelly. Kelly always goes for the jugular, and Tamra, she at least gets a good shin kick. You know what I mean? Just be quiet. Noella has come out and said that she also believes that it's Emily who is jealous of Gina and Shannon and Heather's friendship. She said that at Shannon's cooking party, Emily sat at the table and said that night that she felt some kind of way. This is the quote from Noella. She actually was at the table saying that, I feel some sort of way because I brought Gina to meet my parents, so I figured when Gina was going to do a meet the parent moment, it would be me because we've had that. Noella says that Emily made it quite clear that she was upset that her kind gesture was not reciprocated. She said, however, when the time came, she turned the tables and made it seem as if it was Shannon who couldn't handle Gina's relationship with Heather when it was actually the other way around. She says Emily was the only person who expressed any feelings of negativity towards the whole trip, not Shannon. You know what? I believe Noella on this one. I also loved it when Heather tried to interject her feelings into the conversation with Shannon and Gina, and then Noella kept interrupting her. She had the nerve to get upset. And I said, you know what? This is one thing that I can love about Noella. Noella is not here to be bothered. She really isn't. Heather, she doesn't care how much money you have. She doesn't care how many shows you've been on. She doesn't care about your big, beautiful house. You are never going to be able to tame Noella. And that is one thing that Noella does give to the housewives. She is not here to be Heather's lapdog. Did anybody else think it was weird, too, that Jen gave Noella that warning about not wanting any trouble at her party and hoping that Noella could be on her best behavior, but she said absolutely nothing when it came to Shannon and Gina causing a scene at the party? I did notice that online, Heather and Shannon have been on each other's timelines posting pictures together, so I'm assuming that they have made up and they're friends again. So there was a post on Tamra's Instagram, I think it was. I can't remember if it's Instagram or Twitter, but there was a post and she was saying that she finally got the call, and it made it seem as if Andy Cohen had called her and she may be coming back Could just be some sort of joke, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't mind seeing Tamra back. I really wouldn't. Tamra and Teddy was talking about the seating chart, and Tamra says that she thinks that Noella's going to be fired from where she's sitting on the couch. Tamra says, I'm still obsessed with the seating chart. That Noella, I felt, brought more than most of the girls here, and she's on the end, which only leads me to believe that she's going to be fired. Teddy agreed, saying that she was never seated on the end of the couch, but then we think, Teddy, you were still fired. Anyway, Tamra admits that even though on and off screen she is not friends with Shannon anymore, she thought that Shannon looked her absolute best. She said that she really did believe that Shannon looked gorgeous. However, she wasn't sure why Shannon was sitting next to Andy instead of Noella, because she believed that Noella brought more drama and more storylines to the table than any of the other cast. There was also some Bravo fans on Reddit that said that they were also shocked to see Noella was on the end, considering that she brought more to the show than Emily. And they were also surprised that Meredith was on the end on Salt Lake because she brought more to the season as well. But then they were also surprised when Kyle got to see next to Andy when she didn't bring anything last season, and she absolutely did not bring anything. So they did mention that back in 2018 they spoke to one of the producers of the show, and the producer said the seating arrangements are made up by whoever brings the biggest story of the season are the ones who get to sit next to Andy. So again, we are completely shocked by why in the world Noella is at the very end of her couch. I understand why Jen is on the end of the other side because she didn't bring much either. But I did hear that allegedly Andy Cohen said that Noella was a one-season housewife and that Jen was a keeper, which I don't know why the hell Andy would think that. Anyway, I wouldn't care if they both went. Moving on. So then we go into Noella. She's talking about her father again, and I am more confused about this story. You know, according to a bunch of articles I've seen and on Google, they say that her father passed away in 2012, but Noella is speaking about him as if he is still alive. You know, during the filming, she talks about emailing him during COVID.
We speak through emails, like during COVID. Through email, I told him that he's a grandfather.
We just got very sad news that my father passed. We received a letter from the executor of his estate. I wish that my son got to meet my father.
See what I mean? I'm confused about this whole thing. So I'm wondering if maybe her father just has the same name and he's also a weather guy, or maybe there was some typos on Google and he actually died in 2021 and not 2012. I have no idea, but I'm sorry for her loss. I do think it's also odd that she keeps acting as if she only has her son. She has two children. She has a daughter and her 2-year-old son, and she never brings her daughter up. And I don't know if that's because maybe her daughter's father is not okay with her daughter being on the show. But even if he's not okay with her being on the show, she could still mention her little girl, couldn't she? I don't know, you guys. Get down in the comments. Do you think Noella's dad actually died in 2012 and that she's just making this up for the show? I have no idea. I would hate to think that this woman is using this as a storyline and this man passed away in 2012. Now here we go. Emily and Gina in desperate need for a storyline. They are in desperate need of being filmed to hold on to these oranges that she has brought in this psychic medium for somewhat of an exorcism. She swears she done brought something home from the sweat lodge. Girl, you are reaching.
Yep. Whoa. We're loosening it. That's why you're starting to have those. It's a little creepy crawly. We're gonna be fine. Go.
This is desperate television. You know what? I have nothing. I've got nothing. I'm done. I'm done. This is just ridiculous. We find out that Emily and her husband have decided to take a wedding photo shoot. I guess their wedding photos didn't turn out that great, and they've decided that they're not going to renew their vows due to the renewal curse that we have on the Housewives. And it's not just Orange County, it's all the Housewives. They usually have some problems when they get to the renewal, so I can understand that. She's also decided that they need a change of scenery, so they're going to get away and go down to Aspen. They do not need a change of scenery. These women are going to act the fool no matter where they are. But I guess it's nice to act a fool down in Aspen in a beautiful house.
Why does Gina care so much what Shannon thinks? So maybe Gina cares about Shannon more than she thinks.
And Heather's face, that was worth it. Heather's face when Jen said, why does Gina care about Shannon's opinion? Clearly, she cares about Shannon more than she's willing to admit, and I have to agree with it. I do. Gina does mention that she feels that if she would have had the exorcism before she had that talk with Shannon, she wouldn't have said some of the things that she said. Personally, I don't care, and I don't know why Shannon would let anything that Gina said to her bother her. Gina is the one who needs Shannon, because without Shannon, she has no storyline. Now, I have to agree with Shannon. Emily, if you really wanted peace between everyone, you would stop stirring the pot. You would shut up and quit running to tell everything you hear. So Gina launches her product line, and I appreciated it. Her skincare products were actually there, featured. They were in the photos, everything. Not like Wow Rose Beauty, that there was no product anywhere. So she's already one step ahead of Whitney. Everyone was giving their condolences to Noella, and I appreciate that. Noella lets Jen know that she wanted to tag her in the photos of her beautiful flowers that she sent her, and realized that Jen still had her blocked. Jen said she does not need to be tagged. I am here for that. I would never unblock Noella, and don't worry about tagging me in anything, because Lord forbid I accidentally tag.
It's called a lucky butterfly.
Danny, I waited a long time to say this to you. I want to thank you so much for the gift of Mike Fell.
Oh, it's all good.
It changed the trajectory.
I didn't do anything. I was just a conduit.
Your kindness meant the world to me.
Now, honey, that was priceless, wasn't it? Gina's parents thanking Shannon for the attorney. And did anybody see Emily standing there and then she walks off real quick? You know, good and daggone well she was running over there so that she could tell Gina everything that was said.
We had sex last night.
And we
That's so good!
I know, I blasted
Good job, Ryan. Okay. It's good.
Now, that was just tacky to me. I mean, you people are over 40. Are we clapping and high-fiving the husband for having the sex with his wife? That was just childish.
You know what, Gina? I don't know that you do want to get along with me.
Well, I'm making an effort.
Did you just say shut up?
I did. Yes. Shut up. Stop lying. Shut up. You saw her put her hand on another person.
Yes, you're such a liar, Noella.
You heard it too.
I'm done.
He has a large part in stirring things up. I'm starting to question, is Emily my friend?
But on its own.
My life's good. Your karma's already giving you what it needs.
Heather Dubrow, what was that karma comment? Is her karma that her father passed away and her husband left her? Now, one thing I can say to you here, she found out about the divorce through the mail. She found out about her father's passing through the mail. I would just stop checking the mail. I really would. Call me, send me a text. Don't send me anything in the mail. I can't wait to see these next couple of episodes. I'm already tired of the Housewives of the OC. These ladies are getting on my nerves. Anyway, you guys, get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this episode. And let me know, who do you think would be your dream cast for next season? We've got to do something. This show is failing. These ratings are low. What do you think? And until next time, bye.